All right, hello, and welcome back to the channel. Amber here, and today we are taking a look at episode 8 of Murderbot on Apple TV, titled Foreign Object. Before we get into the breakdown, my short review is this. Was anyone else not expecting the emotional depth this week? It's another great episode, and I realize I might care more than I thought I would. The title of the episode, Foreign Object, is a nice play on words. We have Gurathin injured with a foreign object stuck inside his wound, making him ill. But it also describes the moment Murderbot and Gurathin go lurking around in one another's heads. It seems as though they both manage to dig around until they each find one another's most painful memory. Garathan's feeling of rejection and his pleas to Mensa, wanting to be loved by her, and Murderbot's most painful memory of killing clients. At this point, both Murderbot and Gurathin are the foreign objects in each other's memories. One could even argue that these feelings of vulnerability are foreign objects in the heads of two thinking, non-feely types of characters. All in all, it's pretty painful. And again, we are highlighting Garathan and Murderbot as mirrors of one another. Given the opportunity, they show no restraint about breaching each other's trust. The ethics of this cerebral treasure hunt is questionable. Murderbot isn't a dummy, but my god, was it expertly played by Garathan. I think getting the reveal in the last episode that he was a spy who collected data for drugs makes the scene with Murderbot more believable. Gurathin knew exactly what he was doing and played his cards like a professional, but you still get the sense that he feels remorse. After Murderbot says, "That was private," and Gurathin says, "Yes, maybe," we see a small moment of vulnerability from both of these characters, and this was the real highlight of the episode for me. Another standout is the introduction of GrayCris, because now things are really moving full steam ahead and it's all coming together. Theories start to unfold as we learn that GrayCris is likely mining for alien remnants and killing anyone that gets in their way. And there's an idea that the company most likely took a bribe to look the other way. The world building is getting bigger and bigger, and we are starting to see the many elements of the story. The goings on within the corporate rim are really, really suspect. You start to get the idea that no one can be trusted, and for the right price, laws and ethics are most often skirted. Here, corporations rule, and all of the corporations that make up this area have their own pursuits and practices. Mining resources, indentured servitude, terraforming, transporting goods, providing security to other corporations, corporate espionage, and to top it all off, capitalism rules. In the books, Martha Wells doesn't bother with subtlety. She points at the mess with a big blinking neon sign. It's not just a theme, it's the whole point. What happens when regulations are gone and profit is king? Science fiction has been asking that question for decades. Wells answers it with a dry, well, this. But it's not just the critique of unchecked space capitalism, it's also a story about personhood. And this is the episode where all the themes and world building elements make that very clear. The enemy is finally revealed, and the damage done by this corporate dystopian setting leaves Murderbot and Gurathin facing the emotional fallout, turning them against each other as they wrestle with who they are and what they've been through. It's another strong episode. And if you enjoy these recaps and reviews, make sure to like and subscribe. If you'd like to help support the channel, check out Road to Valon on Patreon and YouTube memberships. So let's dive into the breakdown. Episode 8 opens with another episode of the rise and fall of Sanctuary Moon. We find out that Captain Hossein has been decapitated by Navbot. Lieutenant Kularu has been promoted in his place. When he smugly orders Navbot to smile, the bot flips, killing 2 officers, then Kularu. With Hossein gone, the navigation bot's whole purpose has collapsed. And it's an early hint that the line between code and emotion is somewhat blurry in this universe. Back in the main storyline, Murderbot is focused on survival. Gurathin is injured and burning up with fever and needs to get to the habitat for treatment, but everyone knows something's off. Murderbot's hidden transponder reveals that the habitat was crawling with corporate sec units, and not just any corporation, but GrayCris, a mining company. Their leader appears via camera, all smiles and vague threats. She insists this is all just a misunderstanding and even offers a collaborative exit plan and a meeting point. Obviously, Murderbot isn't buying it. It scans the area for traps and secures the habitat, which is lucky because Gurathin is now in critical condition with gangrene. But Gurathin refuses painkillers. We know it's because of past addiction, and he'd rather suffer through surgery than risk losing control again. But then Murderbot and Gurathin think of something at the same time. Murderbot will jack into Gurathin's augmented body and block the pain neurologically. And as I mentioned in my review, it's one of the most vulnerable moments of the series. While connected, Murderbot ends up experiencing Gurathin's memories. For a machine built to avoid intimacy, this is very, very intense. The memories feel so human, and it's a feeling that Murderbot didn't expect. Murderbot sees how much Gurathin loves the team, specifically Mensa. But then, as they are connected, Gurathin takes this moment to dig into Murderbot's mind. And what does he find? The truth behind Murderbot's name, or at least what he thinks is the truth. Then Gurathin blurts it out. It murdered 57 people it was assigned to protect. And the line lands like a gut punch. Murderbot tries to deny it, saying, maybe those memories were planted, maybe it was hacked, or maybe it did it. And it's the central question the whole series has tiptoed around. How do you live with what you don't remember but still fear? And everyone is stunned. Gurathin seems more angry than anything, and the rest of the team looks like they don't know what to think. Mensa is torn. Murderbot walks out, helmet down, in silence. It's heartbreaking, not just because of what was said, but because it confirmed what Murderbot has always feared, that they see it as dangerous, broken, and unfixable. Inside the habitat, the team has to regroup. Gurathin is bitter, some are scared, some still trust Murderbot. Mensa takes the hardest blow, but she says the line that matters most. It can choose for itself. That idea that Murderbot gets to choose is the base of its identity, and it's also the most radical thing in this universe. We then hit the next layer of the episode, which is what does GrayCris want? The team puts it together. GrayCris wants the alien remnant on the planet. They're valuable, illegal, and dangerous. Deltfall, the other team, found them and died for it. The preservation team will be next, unless they can find and secure the remnants first. GrayCris left them alive because they still need intel or leverage. Meanwhile, Murderbot is wandering, not physically lost, but mentally scrambled. For the first time, it can't escape into its favorite shows. It keeps reliving the fallout with the team. It wants to help them, but they might not want help. It's no longer bound by orders or protocols. and it's not sure whether that's freedom or abandonment. Then we cut to a moment of quiet drama. Arata and Pin Lee are talking about the relationship. They plan to break the news to Rati that their dynamic has shifted. But Rati surprises them with a confession of his own. He's in love with Pin Lee. Pin Lee is stunned, but not opposed. They're facing death and they want to do it honestly. It's awkward, funny, a little sad, and very real. Back to Murderbot, it has a revelation. What if it doesn't follow anyone's story anymore? Not GrayCris, not the preservation teams, not its own programming. What if it writes a new one? With that, Murderbot marches back into the habitat and announces, without ceremony, it has a plan. Helmet down, voice calm, like it didn't just break everyone's hearts 10 minutes earlier, Gurathin can only mutter,
Fuck.
as we head into the final two episodes, the stakes aren't just life and death. They're about whether Murderbot can be more than what it was built to be, and whether anyone else will let it, or whether it even cares. As always, like and subscribe for more, and be sure to keep an eye out for my Meanwhile Elsewhere podcast, also on this channel, where we dig deeper into the episode. That's it for now, and I'll see you back next time.